Hello, guys. You know that gut feeling you get when something's just wrong? That sense of dread you can't quite explain? I've been living in that feeling for weeks now, and I think it's about to destroy me. This all started when I moved into my new apartment. It wasn't anything special, just a cheap one-bedroom unit in an old building. The landlord was weirdly eager to rent it out, practically shoving the lease in my face. I should have known something was off, but I was desperate. Cheap rent speaks louder than common sense. The apartment itself was old and a little grimy, but it had charm. The bathroom mirror, though, immediately gave me the creeps. It was massive, framed in dark wood, with patches of tarnish that made it look like it was hiding secrets. I chalked it up to my overactive imagination and moved on. The first time I noticed something wrong, it was subtle. I was brushing my teeth late at night, zoning out, when I saw it, or thought I did. My reflection lingered just a little too long after I'd turned away, just for a split second. I stopped mid-step, staring back at the mirror, but everything seemed normal. I convinced myself I was overtired. I laughed it off, but deep down I didn't really believe that. The second time was worse. I was getting ready for bed, washing my face, when I felt this heaviness, like someone was standing behind me, watching. I glanced up, expecting to see nothing, but my reflection wasn't looking at me. It was staring over my shoulder. I whipped around, my heart hammering, but there was nothing there. When I turned back to the mirror, my reflection was back to normal. I stood there, frozen, my mind racing. Was I losing it? Then the dream started. Every night I'd dream of the bathroom. I'd be standing in front of the mirror, unable to move. My reflection wouldn't mimic me. Instead, it would smile. This horrible, stretched grin that didn't belong on my face. I'd try to scream, but no sound would come out. Slowly, the reflection would reach for the glass, its hand pressing against the inside, trying to get out. I'd wake up drenched in sweat, convinced I was going insane. But it wasn't just dreams anymore. A few nights ago, I woke up around 3 a.m. to the sound of tapping. It was faint at first, barely noticeable, but it got louder. It wasn't coming from the walls or the window, it was coming from the bathroom. The door was open just enough for me to see the edge of the mirror, and the light inside was flickering like a dying bulb. I wanted to ignore it, to pull the blanket over my head and pretend I hadn't heard anything, but the tapping grew more frantic. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and crept toward the bathroom. The air was freezing, like someone had left a window open, but all the windows were shut. When I shone the light on the mirror, my stomach dropped. My reflection wasn't just staring at me, it was grinning. That horrible, stretched grin from my dreams. Its eyes were wide, too wide, like they were about to pop out of its skull. And then, slowly, it started moving. Not like a normal reflection. It raised its hand to the glass, pressing against it, leaving a smudged handprint on the inside. And then it spoke. Its voice was low and raspy, like it hadn't been used in years. It didn't sound like me, not really. It whispered 2 words that sent me running out of the apartment. Let me. I didn't stop running until I was in my car, shaking so hard I could barely put the keys in the ignition. I drove to a friend's house and spent the night there, refusing to explain why I showed up at 4 a.m. The next day, I went back with my friend to grab some clothes. Everything looked normal. No flickering light, no weird handprints on the mirror. My friend laughed at me, said I was imagining things, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was waiting. I haven't been back since. I broke my lease, left most of my stuff behind, and moved into a new place. There's no mirror in the bathroom here, and I plan to keep it that way. But last night, something happened. I woke up to the sound of tapping again. I don't have any mirrors in my apartment, but there's a reflective surface on my phone. When I picked it up, the screen was off, but I could see my reflection, and it wasn't smiling. It was screaming. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more scary stories.